all. Yeah, myself, I'm Dattatraya Gaud, C1 Decode Software Solutions founder. So basically, I do have like a 12 years experience on training of the things like on especially like machine learning, deep learning, and AI. Coming to the blockchain technologies, and I'm into like IT sector from past 8 plus years. So basically, on this today occasion, I would like to share about the thing like government initiatives on this smart farming systems. So I'm going to share my screen. Just please confirm once I'm sharing or not. I hope my screen is sharing.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you for confirmation. So today's topic is like simple government initiative under the smart farming. Okay. So what basically like how government can take an initiative on the smart farming system? How can they like really can help us on these things? How really this going to fit like in the smart farming system? What are the benefits? What are the benefit for government sectors? Let's say how the benefit going to be happen for the like a common people of the farmers. Okay. So like a moment, let's go with the first slide. So first, before going to the government initiative, the things, let's start with a small thing before this. Yeah, before this, let me introduce first what is smart farming. Let's go with a point like a step by step process. How really the government going to invest on these things and how they exactly going to take initiative on this like a particular thing. Okay, so it's quite simple here. Like let me go with a smart farming here. What is smart farming? Like a smart farming is nothing but integrating like advanced technology. Nowadays we have seen like there's a lot of core technology in the market like IoT and AI and ML and blockchain. So what's the part of the IoT and AI, ML and blockchain? The reason it's very small it's very easy. Like that is nothing but like IoT is nothing but Internet of Things where we're going to control appliances through the world, or else let's say another one here is it's quite simple about the AI. AI is nothing but it's a prediction model where we can suggest a few things. Okay. So coming to part of machine learning is nothing but where the qualitative like AI is a subset of ML. Okay. In this basic of the techniques, it's quite simple. ML like coming to part of ML techniques, like we have like machine learning algorithms and deep learning techniques. Coming to blockchain, what is a blockchain? I'm going to discuss in depth about the things in upcoming on coming slides about the more about the how exactly IoT can help us, how government going to take an initiative on this IoT and AI and ML and a blockchain. Okay, so it's quite simple. So for this right now, I'm going. It's a key point of a key point where I'm going to discuss on the core technologies. So what is a blockchain here? Blockchain is nothing but like a encrypting of a data. Majorly, we have like a few things in the market which must not like so faster reveal the things. Let's say on the schema basis. So for that reason, we are going to use the blockchain exactly here. So coming to part of next one. So why smart farming is essential here? In this world, you have seen the population day by day it's increasing very high. Another one is the major impact here is how exactly the farming going to scale up this community in the world. It's quite simple here is like let's say by the man, let's say by man, if a man cultivate a land for like 5 acres, he may take 6 months example. So how far 6 months time is there, but he can only feed let's take an example, we can guess on like feed only like 6 lakhs of people. So let's in for our scenario we have a lot of people in the crowds. So how can really this can help us? Okay, like in going to be the manual farming of the helping, there may be chance of any errors, there may be chance of we cannot find proper growth in the plants, let's say proper growth in the crops. How essential this is like required for us, like according let's say when we are using this type of technology, advanced technologies in the market which is available in IoT and AI and ML. Like let's say there's a climate changes, we have some pre-models, pre-built some models where can suggest according to climate changes. By adopting those technologies we can build something new in this. Like how in the sense, like let's take an example. In 6 months, just now we are discussing about the few things In 6 months, there's only they can see like 6 lakhs of people. So how far it can reach more people? So in this errors, what can we do here is by adopting new technologies like ML and these things, we can have some prediction model. At least like laws maybe I cannot assure you like I cannot say you like exactly you're going to get a like full profit like 99.95. It's not like that. Basically like you can eliminate like you can get a profit of 85%. Okay, remaining 20% or 25%, whatever may be, there may be chances of like loss. I cannot assure you like it's going to be 99% profit. Basically by adopting these technologies over here, we can get like there may error chances are very less here. We can increase the farm like smart farming essential, because essential this is by day in daily life everywhere we need to find something new in the sense like we need a food. Okay, for that reason we must like mainly focus on these things like farming things, because food is a major like in India we are one of the most I guess we are like good ones to export in the countries. For that reason, how can we like grow more like cultivate more things, and we can start making the things like high number and count values. So how essential we can do this is by adopting this type of new technologies in the market, we can start like growth. The production maybe will be high. For that reason, for major things we are going to choose one of the fame like most of the things like these are the core things. But coming to part, there are like a lot of more technologies in the market, but majorly these are the technologies where you can really like get on the things. Okay, now let's discuss like what are the things like what are the these things like majorly like used in this like a smart technology of the farming. So it's quite simple here. Like roll up the smart like I vote in the smart farming. Let's say you nowadays it's been like let's say if you want to water the plant for a while, like every 6 months, like every 6 minutes, or like let's say every 6 hours. For that scenario, manually a person need to be going there and start like watering the plants, and there may be chances of like may not be like sometimes they may not be possible the man to travel so long for the distance to only for water purpose like a plant watering. So for that reason it's just like we can use this type of adoption of this technology like IoT systems, where you're going to integrate entire things. Let's say in on the screen you can clearly see that there's a one like our drone systems and a water planting, and there's a temperature sensors and like tractors, which is like literally like we can monitor these things on our dashboards using this IoT technology, Internet of Things of the world. You can monitor the entire health condition of the crop or plant. Let's say you can monitor with this technology entirely in the throughout the world sessions. Okay, like you can use dashboards for monitoring purposes, or else you can go with the applications like you're going to integrate the same like what are the hardware device you're buying. Example, let's say we are building some hardware devices using like a Raspberry Pi, and even you can use Arduino, and even you can use like ESP32. These are the microcontrollers where you're going to use some sensors. Okay, it's not like you're going to plug this modules and you're getting output. No, exactly the working of this models is simply we're going to get some sensors. One is like let's say soil sensor, another one like one other one maybe like soil moisture sensor. According to the moisture of the soil over here, it's going to start watering the plants in such a way that let's say about pH, like pH value, right? Let's say in that pH value, if if scales like let's say water scarcity is very less, according to that scale like acid like you can consider it as like a dry or wet. Okay, according to that reason it's going to sense with the help of this sensors. Okay, for that using of the sensor, what happens here is it's quite simple. It's like it's going to like start watering the plant on the while. Let's say a value whatever we wrote in the code. Example, we have written some code in the microcontroller stating that if the value is less than 5, you start water. If the value is more than 5, it will like stop the sensor for a while. So exactly these things are going to be happen there, or else we are going to use some other like relay control technologies, where one by pressing one button it start watering the plants. Okay, and what is the benefit of the majorly on this IoT here is we can monitor the health condition of the plant. Exactly. So let's say 85% of the water. Let's say if the plant need only 85% of the water, if the according to human, we cannot predict the exact percentage of the water to plant, like water the plant over the crop, is it? So exactly what here is, everything going to be in the form of measurements, like like we cannot like plan in 85 percentage. If you flow more than, like, let's say you're flowing like 150 percentage, there will be a chance of health condition of the plant may be high. Like let's say too much of water also may be spoiling the things in the worst case. So exactly how this type of things like here is by like taking a measurements proper, like values and proper like adoption of the things, we can start using this type of technology. Like we can maintain proper measurements for the plants. So in these conditions there will be very less case of like damaging the things. Let's say there is a profit of 85 percentage, which I said you in starting. So this is the things. And coming to a part of these things, we also going to use some of the other technologies, like like our drones for fertilizing, like fertilizations in the market. Okay. So how artificial intelligence is used in a farming? Before going to artificial intelligence, let's see what is artificial intelligence. It's quite simple. Artificial intelligence is nothing but which will be learning the technology from the from this technique of this ML. Okay. So artificial intelligence is nothing but which has capability of thinking like on its own. It can develop some new like technology of the artificial exactly on its own. Okay. So this is about artificial intelligence. Now coming to like the artificial intelligence in this smart farming, it's quite simple here. So in this like artificial intelligence using in smart farming here is on the screen you can clearly see like this like there's like artificial like a bot over in the center, and it's like helping this like category wise over here on a like crop soil and monitoring. So how exactly this is happening? Just now we have discussed about IoT there. That was only like a hardware and the sensors. Okay, we didn't discuss anything depth exactly over here about how the working was inside the code. So implementing the artificial intelligence in the code, what happens here is every like just now I was saying like 5% of this water plants up like if the five is less than more, like a number you can start getting water. That is also not a case. That is only like it's not a permanent solution over there. But still sometimes if the sensor goes wrong. So how exactly this is working here? Artificial intelligence is nothing but it's a kind of a human brain. It has some neurons. It's going to train the model. So according to this model, now it's going to develop some intelligence. Let's say basic common, like common sense, like intelligence here. Let's say if the sensor value goes up due to there may be chances of like like dry, but due to in our sensor count, if it does not detect less than 5, you know what happens, the water will not start here exactly. So for that reason, what here is, if I'm implementing same artificial intelligence here, it calculate the average of the things. Let's say first it calculates the health of the plant. Another one is now it start like looking at some other parameters, like what is the soil erosion, like soil like dry or like wet. Okay. And also it starts monitoring the things like how exactly this thing's going to be like happens. Okay, now coming to part of also like how this is going to help in like yield prediction. So yield prediction is quite simple, like basic based on some parameters. Let's say according to our, let's say we have let's take an example here on this scenario. So basically right now on this on this scenario, let's take like like a yield prediction, how this is going to happen. Like what happened here is based on the parameters. Let's say you're going to take a few parameters. Let's say first parameter, like our intelligence system going to ask the farmer, stating that like please enter some of the parameters. One parameters may be like he must enter the climate. What is the climate? Another one is stating that what is going to be like a land size to grow the crop, and what are the pesticide you are using for a yield prediction, like a yield, like a growing of the things. So based on these few parameters, what our intelligence system going to do here is it going to suggest you the few things, like how can you start growing the things here exactly. Okay, how can it start growing like which crop is fit for your location based on the like climate changes, based on the geographic locations. So these are the few technologies where we are going to adopt these technologies from based on this. Now, how exactly, this is like a small kind of this ML technique. So this is like a kind of small like machine learning up like a technique we are going to use here. So adopting this farm different type of machine learning are like techniques here. How exactly this is going to happen? So drone farming, like coming to part of next one is drone farming here. How this is exactly government going to take an initiative on these technologies right now before going to part of government taking initiative on these technologies. Let me give like a small like a intro to these things. Okay. So exactly here is drone like a drone in like a farming here is it's quite simple. Like by using this drone technology, we can start getting things we can predict the things. So based on these things, now we can go for a good good health conditions. There may be chance of a few. What happened here is few if you want to check something the crop is having some disease or like some going to be needed for the crop to get proper things. For that reason, what I'm going to do here is it's quite simple. Using this drone technology, I'm going to map everything on the field. Okay, based on the field mapping, what here is we can suggest something new here. Okay, we can suggest proper what is needed for the plant to grow here. So getting on to now smart irrigation systems. How can we get what is this smart irrigation systems here? Like smart irrigation systems is nothing but like getting a new technology to innovative the things. Like how can we deliver proper on a right time to the techno everything the plan status of a health condition to our mobile devices. Based on these things, like how this really going to help the help in future of the things. Now we're going to discuss with like a few on the other slides. Okay, now coming to part of like how this is a case studies. Now let's begin our main topic like our government initiative or like initiative under this smart farming. Okay, so what exactly here? According to the previous, whatever we discussed in a bit last, like IoT and AI and ML and blockchain based. So right now, let me give a one like case study over here. Okay, case study over here right now is quite simple. According to the sensor, just now we were discussing about sensors. How like government initiate this farming here is it's quite simple. How really it can help like government going to help us help a farmer. How can they take good profits out of this techno acquiring these technologies? It's quite simple. Like implementing like crop yield production by 20 percentage of the sensor based irrigation, we can get roughly get 80% of profit. Just now we was discussing about the profits, right? So how exactly this is going to be here is quite simple. Like acquiring this type of like a sensor based. Just now was what I was talking is there will be error values which I was saying, too much of water may be leading to the damage of the crop. Sometimes there may be chance. For that reason, what I'm going to do, I'm going to take a sensor based value which has some fixed numbers, which not it's going to use like more than the things. So according to that, what we are going to hear is I'm going to use this sensor based irrigation systems where it can give me 80% of result for the profit of these outcomes. Okay, so coming to now another topic over here is water usage. How the exactly usage going to be happen? It's quite simple here. The usage is nothing but by acquiring good number, taking like machine learning algorithms or like some prediction algorithms on that, we can save exact water usage here. But let's say you are using some like in a winter crop, we have some winter like crops. On summer basis, we have other crops. In that reason, what happens is due to inappropriate guidance or something, what happened exactly here is there may be chance of inappropriate crops are growing up on water scarcity. They may usage of too much of water in that scenario. So for that reason, adopting this type of technology, government going to take further initiative on these things. Like, by adopting this technology, they can literally save the whole water of this country, like in the world, like of the India parts. In like this can really like help them to like stabilize the things. Now coming to the part of like final one here is real-time pesticide detection, saving like let's say some dollars in the crop losses. How exactly this thing happening? By adopting these technologies like blockchain based and another one like ML concepts and deep learning here, we can really predict the models by using some like let's say IoT devices are meant. With, just now I was talking about IoT devices. IoT devices like we can adopt this technology and we can start like uh, we can monitor the things, we can monitor the plant health status. How efficient this like technology going to help us is it's quite simple. By using like proper resources and proper like proper like on time, we can like what we can say is we can get a proper like profits on this basis, and we can increase the number of the growth of the plants. Okay, usually what happens is due to inappropriate like guidance, another one is no proper growth of the plants, sometimes there will be high losses. Let's say farmer is investing like 10 lakhs for a crop example. What happens is due to inappropriate like guidance, what happens is it start going with some random like approaching some people. There will be chance of like a high loss. For that reason, what happens, that reason is by adopting this type of technology, he can be stabilize the things, and he can normalize the things in such a way that now he can take real time prediction basis algorithms. He can whatever the government is providing the initiative like taking those technologies and implementing those technologies in the market. These farmers can use those technologies, and they can start like they may be chance of only whatever I said this, they may chances of only like 90% of the profits and 10% of the loss here exactly. So that's the reason what is here is like real time like detection saving like more than the crop prediction. Okay, this is the case study nowadays. It like basically going to happen. Okay, so how this is future technology in the farming. So by adopting this type of technology, now the government start going to take an initiative. How exactly the initiative going to be taken? They can like look in next slide. Like this is the like a future smart farming. By adopting this type of technology like a future smart like a smart farming, the government going to be take initiative like you can clearly see in the graph on the screen. On 2021 it was very less, and 22 it like was rising a bit, and 23 it was rising a good number. Coming to part of what like 22 and 23 and 24 and 25. So what here is exactly it's going to happen here is you can clearly see on 23 it was like a bit down, and another one is 25 and 25 completely on 25. Now it's now what is in the world right now, yes, everywhere is IoT and AI and ML on the concepts. So based on this one, government going to take initiative like previous outcomes. What exactly government was utilizing in the previous it was like taking a responsibility for first purpose to check whether it's really getting a good result or not. Based on those parameters, now government getting initiative onto this smart farming. Okay, so this is the high rate like on a graph you can clearly see, but like 24 and 25 it's raising very high. Okay, like innovations and robotics farming like this type of majorly using in advance. You can even see like advanced adopting technologies like AI, IoT and robotics for automation and efficiency for farming and sustainability like prediction of agriculture and renewable energy resources, optimizing them. Like clearly like what we can say is like entering some parameters, it's giving some like suggestions to you like a precision agriculture. You can start growing proper like crops on a time, and according to the weather conditions you can start like growing the things. So what is blockchain here? Big data and sharing, smarter decision making here is majorly nowadays government going to choose blockchain. The reason why here is, let's say if a government want to like launch a plan like some like schema like a praja like what we can say like Modi have launched one of the PM schema. So what here is, he wanted to not to tamper the data in order to like there be chance of tampering the data. Let's say if the government really wanted to launch some like what we say scheme here is, he wanted to implement this scheme like very credentially, very he wanted to pass this order very without tampering of the data. For that reason, what government going to take choose is blockchain based algorithms where the data cannot be tampered. Once the block is created, they cannot tamper the data here. So for that reason, what exactly here they are doing is they're going to adopt this technology, blockchain, and they're going to whatever they want to implement in future or else in present, without someone to tamper data. For that reason, they can use blockchain in simple words. Let's take an example here. It's quite simple. Let's say from government to direct to farmer, there must be no other any other person like a mediator here. Let's say government want to sanction like 1 lakh of the loans, like a loan, or like it's like a fund to the farmer. You know the reason nowadays in like what happening in between, if there's a person, there will be chance of very low amount coming up to the farmer. At the end of the day, maybe chance of 30K coming up. For that reason, what here is to avoid that complexity of data tampering, the government going to choose initiate like a blockchain based before initiating some scheme or else some other things to in order to like tamper proof the data. Okay, so these are the things about this getting on these things on future farming one. Now let's go with our things like government initiating under the smart farming. How exactly government going to support support usually on the start cases, like financial empowerments, introducing to subsidies and a grant for the smart farming technologies. Previously we have seen some of the technologies in the last few slides. So how exactly this is going to happen? Facilitate low interest credential schemas for moderating agricultures, like providing very efficient loans, not like very high loans, interest, let's say rate of interest. First what happened here is, by going to adoption of smart technologies, there will be very less loss. We are already discussed in the previous one. By coming to the fact who here, but if there is a low interest credit schemes, like what here is, easily people will buy. Let's say you're inventing some electronic devices like IoT, which I was talking about the devices. In that thing, let's say it costing you 1 lakh. We know that it's costing you 1 lakh, but government, what exactly government can do here is, they can launch a scheme stating that you can buy this technology for 1 lakh, but the rate of interest may be low. Okay, based on that, what here farmer thinks is, first he will choose one condition. What is the first condition? He'll think like there may be the high profits. Okay, another one here is there will be a low chance of loss here. And by also third, this is a major one, this always comes to brain. It's quite simple. They only look for the rate of interest, really, really, if this fitting their according to their in let's say financial status, they'll definitely go. Because if you're quoting for very less, the people, there may be chance of people are buying this more. Okay, so how exactly this is happening right now? Capacity building and education here, launching national wide training programs on digital precision agriculture. By creating some national like worldwide training programs based on this, and we can provide some, what we say, we can provide some basic knowledge to the farmers. How can they really train on these things, so that they can get some new they can get some idea on these things, like a modern technology, how really it's going to work, how can they acquire in their fields. Okay, another one is enriching farmer digital literacy through the system workshops. Government need to initiate some of the workshops for free, like stating that to aware the farmers. Let's say let's say they wanted to aware what is farming, what is like, how can they acquire these technologies, how can they start like growing the things. For that reason, what can they do is, government can initiate some workshops for the sake of learning the things. How can they start doing the things? Okay, now coming to part like how exactly funds are coming up here is, but the fund of now enriching the farmer digital literacy through this structure. First, we need to organize some workshop in order to make some, let's say, in order to make some awareness what is farming, how can they how can really it fit them. Another one is how can they really initiate this technology with their fields. What is the profit there? Okay, first point. By knowing this all these technologies, like what is the profit, what is the outcome, the farmer can easily grab the things. Okay, this is nothing but this is organizing a like a basic awareness of the workshop must be needed for every state of this India. Okay, throughout the India. So this is the major one. Another one is like knowing about the technology infrastructure. How can they acquire this technology? Okay, this is the main question comes up. Like developing digital marketplaces like e-nam for efficient trade and pricing. First here is first in order to really be in a profits. What here is first government need to show the market pricing for the every farmer here. Okay, based on these farming technologies like a real time like a prediction of the market, on this basis they may be never lost. Okay, because maintaining good dashboards, maintaining good trade market prices on these things, by providing proper applications to the farmers, government need to be providing proper applications to the farmers in order to track the price of the, let's say paddy. Let's take an example of paddy. Let's say today price is 45 rupees. Okay, what happened due to like farmer don't know appropriate price, he may be lost. Another farmer, the guy who is using this device like IoT device and application, he may know like what today's like crop price is 45. Another farmer whoever not using this type of devices, he going to sell for like 15 rupees. They may be loss of like they may be loss high number. Okay. For that reason, what here is to normalize the things. What we are going to do here is we are going to adopt this type of technology where really IoT things like IoT is nothing but here is getting the messages through the clouds. I cannot say like this is completely on a device, but like it's a cloud platform where entire the world is connected to the one platform where they can fix the things, like they can go for trade, they can go for pricing, they can even start for bargaining or some things. It's going to completely depending upon the application you develop. Okay, by acquiring this type of technology infrastructure, what here we are going to do is exactly there will be very less chances of the loss for farmer. End of the day, government going to get a benefited, and end of the day farmer going to be benefited in this. Okay, another one is research and development. Here is very this is very important factor, the fourth factor here. Fund for the agri-tech innovations and support startups economist. What here is the government not only for farmers sake, government also must also look for the tech backgrounds, like the let's say if someone going to really wanted to build some devices based on their, let's say, let's take an example here is, let's say one of the farmer facing some issue, he has some ideas where he really wanted to initiate those ideas with the government so that he can discuss his problems, like, what are the personally he felt the problems there, what exactly he can do there, what he can suggest. Okay, based on those suggestions government need to take some initiative. Okay, what here is raising some funds. Let's go with the funds, or else let's go with the tech backgrounds. Tech background is nothing but according to the farmer, according to is like a flexibility, government also must take some average. I'm not saying like consider each and every problem of the farmers on these things. Based on the high number of same problem facing by the farmers, government need to take some initiative by building some application on those things, like collaborating with some private sectors and taking some advanced technologies. Based on these things, what exactly it happens here is by solving this problem, solving one of the farmers problems, common problems, I'm not talking about like entire problems there, for common problems here, we can really like collaborate with few of the things, and we can start making this very efficient manner. Now let's say our India before before considering those problems, let's say our percentage was 75. once like 65, let's take an example of 65. After collaborating these things, it's going to rise to 98%, because it's going to be supporting directly with the farmer. Government going to be taking like directly initiative, like in an application they can really like they can monitor the people, they can really like understand the feelings of the farmer, and how can really like this smart farming can help them. Based on these things, now they can easily go with these things. Okay, now last one, another one here is policy and governance. Implementing this farmer like a policies promoting technology adoptions. Okay, how like efficiently we, sometimes there may be chance of like what just now we were discussing about the blockchain base, right? There may be sometimes due to some inappropriate, due to some security reasons, we cannot like open the things, like we can like cannot show to the like world, okay, world or someone to some other like third person. For that reason, we're going to adopt this blockchain technology, where the entire data will be in the format of secure. Okay, let's say the plan, like let's say schemes, and like personal details of the farmers and personal details of the land, and what are the regulations, let's say, while giving some like interest orders, while giving some other credibility things, there may be chance of personal informations like KYCs, digital KYCs. For that reason, we are going to use this blockchain technology, where we can secure the farmers information. Okay, so that if someone once the block is created, let's take an example. Let's say our government, when once we initialize this name government, in that, in the blockchain, it will initialize the complete block, where if someone really wanted to change like government T to S letter, previously we have stored the block number, right? The block number will automatically change. In order, for that reason, we can easily find the person who is want to really tamper the data. Okay, for that reason, government's majorly going to use this type of like government initiatives for the blockchain base to secure the farmers information. Okay. So now, like products and the solutions, what are the things like how government going to take initiative on this product and solutions? Advanced farming technologies empowering governments and communities for the sustainable food security and profitability. And at end of the day, government need like some good food security and profitability for the farmers. Okay, by adopting this type of technologies, like precision farming tools, like proper sensors and irrigations and soil moistures, like maintaining proper like fertilizers for the farmers to get, like not going for the very like cheaper one, and maintaining some good stability quality, and suggesting them like and avoiding like a harmful pesticides. For the reason, what here is, in nowadays in the world, what happening here is, majorly farmers are going for inappropriate in a sense. They're not choosing proper, they're not choosing proper due to high like a high costly of the fertilizer, which is like good one. They're going for very cheaper one. Here is another one, this is like very harmful. Cheaper one, like there may be chance of very high number of chemicals, inappropriate, good, not giving good result. It may be losing the farmer end of the day. How exactly here is, by using those type of like fertilizers or something, it for irrigation purpose, it may be cost the land, it may be cost the crop, it may be like end of the day may be the loss. And not only this, quite simple, and it also affecting the end of the day the human who is consuming the crops. Okay, for that reason, what we are going to do here is, government going to fix some like crops, like fertilizers. According to that, they can easily buy in the subsidy. Okay, they can buy in the subsidy in nothing but government going to like track each and every part of the things, like what the pesticides they are using, what are sensors are they using. Another thing, what are the like really the pH level of the soil, like is it like soil is like usable, or else it has some damages they can use or not. For that reason, these type of things are going to be happen. Okay, for that, what here is, government going to take an initiative stating that we will provide you the crop, we will provide you the fertilizer, we will provide you the heal process, we will train you to usage of how really you can use this efficient manner. Not like sometimes, let's say, if a farmer using too much of fertilizer on the crop, there may be a health hazards. Okay, for that, what happened here is, once a human consume those crops, it may be hitting the chemicals in your stomach. You may be like getting like liver issues, like stomach problems. For that, there will be high chances. So due to this is like what here is, adopting fast growth of the crop here, farmers like sprinkle like n number of amount of the fertilizers. For that, what happens here is they don't know it sometimes maybe happen wantedly unwantedly without knowing or knowing. By using this type of like advanced adopting of technologies, what here is government going to fix some value numbers. Let's say they're going to fix for that for this season you're going to implement only these crops. Okay. And for other states there may be chance of the government suggesting you have this type of climate, better you go for this one. So in this way, like government going to take an initiative like providing like products and the solution for the farmers. Okay. Now going for machineries. Now the major one comes up. Now just we was talking about the only for the farming tools. Like how government going to take initiative on the machineries. Let's say if there's n number, like let's say there's a high land, like there's a land of the farmer is very number, like a huge number. How exactly this going to be happen? So what here it going to happen is automatic tractors, like let's say you're working on one field, the government like other tractor need to be monitor the things like how efficiently it's like a land is inside the land. When we are like cultivating the things, we need to find the exact number, like a count of the like a soil here, soil moisture. For that reason, we're going to use some smart machineries where it going to like only use the certain amount of fertilizers, not like n number of fertilizers going to use here. Like let's say if you want to use like 150 ml, you can only drop 150 ml with these machineries in order to like high number growth, and end of the day also going to give you the good amount of the crops. Okay. So coming to data analytics, what is data analytics? This is meant personally meant for the government sectors to know the really health yield prediction of the crops on a year basis, not like some government, like if the scheme is monthly basis, the government look with a monthly basis. The farmer whoever enrolls in that certain like a scheme of the government launched, what here is every on average of the month the government could take some analyst data analytics. What here data analytics is doing is it's going to take quite like measurements. It's quite in simple words. I can assure you here is like taking how exactly what can I say here is quite simple. So taking of this data from previous farmers data, it can analyze like better you can go for this crop for this year from previous data. Not I'm not talking about present one, because like previous one what happened here is, let's say now the same weather condition, now same the humidity here is. So based on these few parameters, what the application suggests you here is it will collect the previous data and it will suggest the farmer to better you go for this one. And not only this, government going to also suggest you better to choose this one. Okay. And the last one here is farm management software. Just now I was talking about the like trade. I was talking about the trade. Another one here is how can I manage the things? Like I want to sell the same paddy crop for the same price to this market. Not not going to get loss like a loss here. How can I like get on the things? So it's quite simple. Maintaining some good dashboard and connecting to the government, you're going to be in a profit. Like not you're going to sell the things for third party here. By choosing the government subsidies and whatever you're acquiring the same like profits, you're going to choose one of the government dashboard where you can start selling your crop on a proper panel where you're going to get maximum of the profits. Okay. Like let's say you're going to get approximate like 85% of the profits, and 25 like let's say 20 something 20 or 25% may be a loss. Okay. If you're choosing third party person, he may ask you for 50% of the price. Okay, so by using this farmer like a farm management softwares where you can start trade like a trade or fix a price and you can start selling your things. So now, what is the key role? Like key role of government initiative in advanced farming methods. What are the things? Government need to like support the startups of the India initiative. How exactly here is? Group of people coming to one conclusion. Let's say they have acquired some problems on the farming. Okay, they got some solutions. Majorly government need to support like startup companies. They have like large number of data. Once the government really like the scheme, like if the couple of people are coming together and they wanted to implement this idea, government need to support the private sectors also. Not like it does not mean like they are like taking complete initiative here. by providing proper, like let's say some people, one of the, let's say a startup have acquired some like what we can say problems of the farmer, like completely very like in depth. Let's say some startup be only like acquire the properties of the farmer problems only like 40 to 50%. Okay, so what here is I would basic tell you here is government will look for the initiative, like initiative which really going to help the farmer end of the day and benefiting the government. Okay, in the process of yield prediction with a high number and good health conditions, another one. So what here is, first they're going to need to support A and B initially. Once they really feel like A is doing up like good work, here is, so it's going to acquire the startups, like startups, and start funding for the startup first initial stage. Later, what here is, the startup will going for a fundraising for the government. Like let's say they have developed some A mission, A or B mission. Okay, A mission is working well like a 45%, and B mission is they successfully implemented A mission for 45 in with their pockets. Okay, now what they'll do is they'll go to the government sectors. They will say like, I've implemented these systems. So how can I like go and take a government initiative fundraising for my startup? Okay, so for that, what they do is they're going to show the prototype. Initially, they're going to show the prototype for the government, so that once the government really getting up to the things, it going to go for the government initiative and it start like funding the startup. Okay, the program. Based on these funding programs, they're going to take a new tech. They're going to acquire, the government now going to take a acquire a new advanced smart farming technology. Okay, based on these things, now this they're going to build, like let's say in our case in third one we have seen like drone for crop monitoring. Now let's say the startup company has built this one exactly, the drone cropping monitoring. If the government really likes these things, they're going to like acquire this drone. Okay, drone technology, whatever the like really smart, helping the farmer, and also benefiting the government sectors, those things. Okay, now lastly here is blockchain for the support, transparency. Like well about the things, government never want to launch their personal details, acquiring the personal of the farmer, or else like startup company. So for that reason, government going to acquire the blockchain supply for the transparency purpose, because there may be chance of tenders. Due to for that reason, this government going to choose this blockchain technology for the data security purpose. Okay, so start like how exactly this is working. Startups and innovations. First, government need to support the startups and innovation. How exactly startups and innovations are working here? It's quite simple here. Government supports for the smart techs. What is the smart techs? The group of bunch of people like who is taking the queries and making some software systems, or else they're building some AI models. Let's say they are building some hardware devices. It's a private sector. It's I'm talking about the private tech. Tech here sounds as a private sector. So government need to tie up. Government need to take a initiative stating that they need to tie up with the private sector. How can they really build the things? Okay, based on this initiate based on these things, they will start go for a startup. Now we have clearly seen one of the startup in India here, startup up. These startup companies basically what they do is they'll support only not high number. Later they'll go for approach of the governments for the subsidies. Let's say if they have built something new, like they really want for funding, they're going for funding purposes. If really these things are working out and these things are working, government will take an initiative. Okay, after getting initiative, they'll acquire this type of technologies, let's say IoT and AIML. For that, really it's going to fit the data or not. First that they initially go for a trial stage. Okay, once the trial states are completed, government going to take an initiative based on this thing, and they will acquire this technology. And you can go for the dashboard technologies. Dashboard is nothing but, let's say if we are discussing about the application purpose. Okay, if you want to know the application, how this application is working, so what they do is what are the time they taken for R&D purpose previously, they're going to implement those R&D cases with the real time cases. Okay, after that our government is well satisfied about the things. Now they're going to take a good initiative and they're going to go for the funding purpose. Okay, Now, after this innovations, like innovating in smart farming, like going for the drone, what exactly drone is doing here is it's quite simple. If you really wanted to get on a drone, like drone cropping monitoring, let's say if in a case there's a 5 or 6 acres of the land, as a human you cannot like go and predict each and every crop. There will be chance of the bacteria somewhere in the crop middle of the crop. Okay, for that reason what happened here is the farmer cannot predict the proper inappropriate. Okay, so what here is if you're using the drone technology, you can monitor the image footage of the crop. Okay, if you're using drone for only for image purpose, that only meant for the like monitoring the crop. Let's say if you really wanted to use the drone for spraying like fertilizers, you can even use those technologies. Like it's a kind of two in one where it can like really help. It can eliminate a human like error. Okay, by taking in enhance like a enhance of these technologies, government going to fix some subsidies. Like if let's say it's costing you 1 lakh, government going to only offer you for 70K, because at the end of the day government is going to plan like to get high number of outcome, not like low number. It's going to like highly it's going to like give the profits for the farmer, and government also must wanted to get a reputation. How can they really like get on these things? And using AI for the pesticide control, how this AI is going to suggest you the pesticide for control? It's quite simple. Based on your parameter, let's say government have initiated some like application in that it complete AI and ML is implemented. Okay, for that what here is just now I was talking about the guidance. If someone really wanted to give the misguidance, like it's not kind of wantedly or unwantedly they're giving due to like listening to some other person. What here is if these things are not going like proper manner, what here it happening here is, so how can they predict? Okay, that's the first question. So let's say like a farmer want to grow some paddy field. Okay, but he don't know the number of which pesticide need to be used, which like how much quantity of the water want to like the plant needed pre-builtly. If he's going in negative format, there may be chance of high number of loss. Okay, by choosing like by choosing some other fertilizer for the crop. In a market we know like there's a lot of duplicates. For that reason what here is the government going to like also sell the products. Not only like they're going to use this type of technology, government going to fix some products. Let's say for the paddy you need to choose a product. For the like let's say for a banana crop you're going to use some b product like fertilizers I'm talking, like a fixed amount of the pesticide. Okay, so for based on those things what here is we can be organic, and this type of technology also increase the high number of outcome. Okay, this here what we can do here is it can easily give the outcome with a high number of profits. Because what here is AI technique is nothing but it never gives you the loss. It is like AI is nothing but which will learn from the previous data. Machine learning, let's talk in the best of machine learning. Machine learning is in the what in the small words is which going to learn from the previous data. Okay, previous data in a sense in a previous month what happened, like previous years or a month what happened in those certain. If someone like went with the same thing like a same crop or else same pesticide, same like a square yard of the land, it going to give some rough hypothesis, either true either false. Based on those things what our AI system going to learn here is it going to learn perfect perfect manner and start going to suggest you in a proper manner. So here, by acquiring this type of technologies, we can get a result of 95% of the result, and only there may be a chance of 5% of the loss. And getting on this blockchain for the supply chain transparency. Just now we was discussing about how exactly blockchain going to help us. By acquiring this type of things, like government can secure the sign an agreement with the private sectors or else with the farmers. So this are about the things. And coming to the final one, I would like to conclude. So acquiring this smart things in the future agriculture government initiative plays a major role for driving adoption. Collaborating with different stakeholders can give the sustainability. By what here this meaning is, final conclusion here is how exactly these are thinking. Like there is a high number of startups company who really worked hard for the like getting on like a modern technology of farming. So how government need to support them initially first also. It's not like government supporting A1, it's not supporting B. Okay, government need to be getting good fundraising for the category of the B also, like B startup also. Based on those things, collaborating and much more like efficiency putting with the stakeholders, it can ensure the sustainability growth. Nothing but end of the day, we're going to get good outcome. Okay, this is all about the thing. Yeah, thank you. Hello. Hello. I'm audible. Hello. I'm audible.
Hello. Hello, may I audible, sir?
Yes, yes, ma'am.
Actually, can you suggest some the agency's name for the funding because of I am doing a post PhD. I'm thinking, but I already completed my PhD. I am trying for post PhD and for funding also.
Funding like Startup India, we have one of the company Startup India.
Okay.
So
Uh,
another one PM Yojana.
okay. Actually, they are not free. मतलब,
What here is initially
हाँ.
what here is initially we need to prove how really like I was talking about A and B scenario here, right? First we need to acquire the things like how exactly you're going to fit that your technology in the present technology.
Yes, actually, on that side, everything is here given. What will the process we need to apply for that?
Okay, it's quite simple, ma'am. Like it's like just was talking about the things like if A is building this and B is building that, you need to prove yourself like in this
Okay,
competitive or modern technologies.
okay. We need to submit the proposal
Yeah, proposal.
first.
Like
Okay,
let's say I've done this technology. By acquiring this technology, this is going to be profit. End
okay.
of the day for the farmer and the government.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Still any doubts? Still any more like any queries? I hope I'm audible. I'm audible. Hello.
Any queries are there? Please, all of you, just raise your hand and please ask. Dattatreya sir,
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Dattatreya sir,
Yes, sir.
any questions are there, sir? From
No, no, I could not see any
participants?
question on the chat box also.
Someone mentioned is, and what are the funding agencies? Is
Yeah,
kindly share.
I've talked just now actually on that. Just now one of the ma'am asked about few queries. I've just answered them. Still more any queries?
Yes, sir, it's audible.
Yeah.
Sir, it is audible, sir.
No, no, I'm asking about the queries, sir. Just now I've discussed. Okay, one second.
Okay, already discussed.
Yeah, yes, sir. Already I've discussed.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you
Thank
so
you very much.
much.
Thank
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much for everyone for giving this opportunity.
Yes. So dear all, please take a break. Next session will be started at 3:30 p.m. today. Thank you.
Grown up on the smart farming. So thank you for introducing. So let's dive into it. Host, if I rejoin, just is that okay? I'm challenged in sharing the screen. Shreya, can I rejoin? Just a minute. Hello. Uh, Hope you guys can hear me, right? So let me share my screen. I hope you guys can see my screen. Let me know if you can see my screen. I take that as a yes. Okay.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So, okay. Yeah. Again, sorry for the disruption. Basically, I had a challenge in sharing my screen. So, yeah. So now, so basically what we are going to see is like, the how we can leverage the new technologies, IoTs and AI and big data to our modern day smart farming. So with that intro, so let me dive into it. So smart farming means there are many integrations, like right from the climate, right from the um, uh, the nature's climatic conditions, soil conditions, soils, crop conditions. So basically, there are many things comes into play to get like to make it very smart way of getting the crops yield, right? So one of the major technologies we use is like in the smart farming uses is like IoTs, AI, big data. They leverage on these data to get a precise and more optimal crop yield, right? So in order to make it more sustainable and also the soil nature or crop nature, to understand the soil nature, so we need a lot of data. So one of the biggest challenge on the IoT devices was evolving over the course. Let's understand what is IoT devices. Like IoT device is majorly interconnecting with multiple devices, and it exchanges data. So what kind of data? Data could be like, the plants growth, soil moisture, you know, the the humidity, and also the climatic conditions, right? These are all understood by the signals, like by the sensors, and those sensors can eventually, give as a data, as a raw format. So the IoT is devices not only for farming, it is can be any devices. Even in our homes, we have like modern days washing machines and the refrigerators. They come into the IoT devices where they can have a camera to scan the food which is there, and also they can eventually update the aged or the expiration date of the food, right? So similar way we can also leverage those benefits into our farming, right? So let's understand like how these IoTs was evolved over the period, right? So if you're in the context of smart farming, right? So the smart agriculture was emerged in 2010, and there were a lot of advanced sensor devices being understood. So one of the major climatic conditions like the weather reports or these data were not. I mean, there were many sensors, many expensive sensors were there built, but later in the years, it has been more optimized and more cheaper devices was eligible to utilize for our cases, right? So this was the first thing was the technology was evolved. Then the second thing was that all the data being collected, and then also in 2017 they were able to do a collective decision predicting the climatic condition, hurricanes, cyclones, and those things were being evolved using this highly expensive sensors. And then later for the commercial purpose, it made like slowly the companies evolved, and then they were able to get more cheaper devices for our cases, right? So for the farmers to absorb there, right? Yeah. So and in 2020 there, like, more automations and drones came into play. So basically given in a farm, right, like apples or Apple farms, or especially in China and United States, right? So there are many drones, like, moving drones or flying drones, and they were able to identify uh, through the camera, through the infrared, they were able to understand the plant's structure, plant's health, and also the whether the plant has enough water or not. Those were being the technology advancement was happening. And from 2023 on 2024 onwards, there were a lot of revolutionizing like greenhouse, many innovations were happening around this for smart farming. So we are yet to go and yet to see which is more commercial and commercially usable, and also the technology is cheaper to to buy for all the farmers, right? Yeah. The next, okay, what's the role on AI farming, right? What can we do with it? So basically, these IoT sensors and these devices, they collect a lot of informations, right? A lot of informations over the period, and satellite informations to observe the climatical conditions and also predict. Basically, we have all these data, right? So the AI comes into play, like how we can leverage those data and then understand the nuances, like how the climatic condition change or the moisture condition change based on each climate, and then we can have an effective yield of cropping is what slowly the AI comes into in play to make a wise decision and also yielding the crop. Later today, we are going to see some of the case studies, and then we can understand like how we can leverage these data and to make more wise and effective decisions. Right. So I'm sure you guys are aware, like, in later 2020, all over the world, they asked each country to have all the data to be published in the internet. So basically, there's the data.gov.in, which is Indian climatical conditions. And so it's each country, they are exposing their climatical conditions, weather report, population, and everything in a data centric way. So since we have this data shared by the governments, and it has been constantly up to date by the governments. So basically, the AI evolution is also maturing, so that the effective models being out, and then people are able to get the leverage, use those models as a effective cropping. Okay. So far, any questions? Okay, here now. Okay, let me move on. So if we dive into the details of AI, if you see like what are the different models which can be used for our cases, like the basically supervised machine learning is one of the case, and support vector machines and decision trees. These are different categories of models, machine learning models, which can use those data to forecast or predict the crop health. So what are the benefits we can see? So for example, here the crop yield prediction estimation, pesticides or disease detection, weed detection, and soil health management, irrigation management, climate and weather forecast. So these are the data which is coming along the way. And also we can use our current location as a base criteria, and then we can also understand due to the climatic conditions or due to the soil conditions, it can what is the best crops we can grow in that area, and also how we can maintain the area. One of the revolutionizing things happened during the past few years, the weed detection and killing. So some of the technologies like laser beam, using the laser beam and the drones, they were able to detect all the weeds, and then the laser pointed the weeds to be uh, destroyed, so that the crops can grow healthier. So in which, without using the pesticides, so they were able to achieve detect using the image recognition and all those advanced technologies, and also the power of laser beam to kill those weeds so that the plant doesn't get infected or you don't need to use the pesticides. So likewise, like many advancements happens even for the livestock monitoring, right? So what happened is like the cameras or the AI's missions which understands and find the difference in the livestock and then understand how they walk, how they are healthy, how far they can, whether they need any medical attention or whatnot. So, so this essentially helps the farmers or any people in who is having the livestock management, so they can lively monitor and have a healthy farming over there, right? So, and likewise, the agricultural robotics and drones. So as I mentioned, the drones are effectively helping on the weed management. So similarly, the robotics also used in the cropping them, and also they were able to have a lot of advanced technologies like machines and automatically so basically the farming industrialization happened in late 1990s. So from there are a lot of equipments and devices were there for effectively cropping or farming the lands. So here with the camera and the AI technologies, with the data which is available, so they were able to effectively find and get more yield on those crops. So in the like there are few also, if we can understand that, like as I mentioned, so object detection is one of the key criteria, and also the RNN, like time series data, basically predicting the climatical conditions based on the historical data, and then they were able to we were able to find and then crop those and or cultivate them at the right timings, right? Yeah. Any questions so far? Okay. All right. So essentially, maybe I'll continue. Like whenever you have question, please raise your hand on the Zoom. Then probably I can share. I can address them right then and there. Okay. Moving on. So as we see, IoT is something like you sense the devices, sense the plants and health conditions or a lively stock here. And the machine learning model, which is AI technology, which can use those object detection and other technologies to identify and how to cultivate plants, or how to how much to pesticide to use the pesticides or to don't use the pesticides. So in this eco cycle, these are the two components to grow and cultivate it. But the next big component is the big data, where you have to preserve all these information into a raw format, so that we can have these models can predict more accurate and precise cropping techniques or cropping technologies, so to understand how the the farming is being done and how the harvesting is being done. Even though we say harvesting is being done, but that is for a farmer, given a farmer, it is not the end state. The farmer has to be carry on and also get it in the market, and the market has to understand whether they have this organic, or like people are more eager to understand whether they used any pesticides, without pesticides and whatnot. Like they have currently the tech, like for a farmer it has a big challenge, and they have uh, there's no way, there's no foolproof system, basically, unless it is in a big company which is being governed by this technology. But here, using the latest technologies, we can also leverage those benefits, the gaps, and we can also innovate and then produce those crops even for selling as. So later today, we can have just a surprise. Later today, we are going to see how we can do this end-to-end system, as a conclusion. Okay. So as I mentioned, the big data is essentially, this is entitled to analyze in the data sets which we have. And then so using those data sets, we can understand the health of the soil, the market needs, demands, how the sales going on. As I mentioned, it's not only producing the crops, it also need to be delivered or sold in the market. So it is like the big data is plays a crucial part to understand all the data into it. So consider this big data for a big companies, it is like an oil. So basically they use this data as a potential backbone of their system, and then use the AI and machine learning models to predict those futures, right? So this how they were able to understand, observe, and then make more smarter systems to yield any cases. Right. Let's deep dive how things can go, right? So for example, right, using these technologies, if we take it as an evolution process, right? First thing is precise farming. So basically you understand and what is the climatic condition, you using the GPS and other system to where locate those machineries or devices or whatnot. And then next stage, next evolution would be something like digital farming, where you can also know precisely which crop is grown from which land. And then the next following stage will be industrialization, and then even which, right, it can go like using the 5G technologies, drone technologies, communication. So basically, so in essence, right, so everything has to communicate with each other. So during this evolution of years, like before 5G, it was quite challenging to collect the data and then effect, like, act on it was really, really challenging. But after this 5G technologies, or GNSS and GPS technologies, which is eventually grown to a level that where we can go precise location of the crops to grow. For example, right, let me take an example of GPS and GNSS, right? So the GPS is a very old technology which is discovered by US military, and then right now we are using for any devices to transport it. But as you might have observed, the GPS is not precise, in the sense that sometimes if you have a weaker signal, then you tend to have a 500 to 600 meter radius, right? So it is not precise. When it comes to digital farming, it is quite challenging to get if it is 500-meter radius, right? So you cannot do a weed laser pointing to kill the weeds in the 500-meter radius. So it is basically the precise locating was quite challenging. So how industry was resolving? So they had this smaller uh, towers. Basically, it has emitting the signals, and then using this smaller signal towers, and they were able to triangulate, and still it was around the 200 meter. The 200 meter on a farmland is still challenging. But later in the day, like, the GNSS, basically it's a multiple satellite systems which comes together, and then you can have a precise location of up to 50 meters. So from 500 to 50 meters can be precisely located using GNSS, right? So now, since the industry and everything getting evolved, so the technology also getting matured to get more precise locations. So in the industrial 4.0, that's a revolution happened, where you can have these drone technologies, GNSS technologies, and also cell tower technologies, which can use to locate, and you can also monitor them with the high volume of data, especially 5G. So the volume is also been helping in this case. And then in the future, we will have more automations using the automated AI farmers, which can help the farmers to get round the clock. They can work, and also they can be they can yield more crops, right? Without or with less pesticides. Okay. Any questions so far? Okay. With that, I would like to take a case study. Maybe we can take an example of crop recommendation. So since we understood these are the building blocks, basically you have IoTs and big data platforms and also machine learning models. So let's take an exercise and see how we can predict the crop. Uh, let's see. Yeah. So basically we have a data set. So in the data set, we can how we can recommend or which crop to be grown on the specific location. So in this data set, we have the n represent basically the sample sheet which has um, n represents the nitrogen, phosphorus, and potassium, the NPK, and the temperature, humidity, and the pH soil, and also the rainfall for the given date, right? So, let me share my data. Just give me a minute. So, I just shared a Google Drive. In that Google Drive, we can take the file crop recommender. Basically, you can have this same location shared for multiple exercises. So for now, we can take the crop recommendation. I believe many of you guys know how to use Colab, right? So we can create a new Colab. I hope you guys can see it. And then you can import the file, which is this file. Okay, I'll make it a this. The crop recommendation.csv. So let's take 30 minutes time at least. Think not sure who can help me here. Switch to coordinate. Item, you're available. Okay, let's take this exercise basically. So let's the objective here is to find which crop to be recommended, right? So in this data set, we will have a sample data set. Let me show this. So as you can see, if you the nitrogen, potassium, temperature, humidity, pH level, rainfall, and the label. Label is nothing but the rice or any crops, so that you can have this data set as a base. Maybe I would like to explore you guys to explore on your own for this case study to understand how we can predict these crops, right? So yeah, that's so. Haitham, would you help me out on here? Like, we can take a 30 minutes time, I think, team. We can take a 30 minutes time as a understand and try out with your Google Colab and then download those data set and then play around with it. Okay. In that case, we can convene back on after 30 minutes. Hello everyone. I hope you had a chance to try out something on the data. Okay. So let's dive into the details, like how we can understand this case study, and then how we can absorb the data, and then see how we can do a prediction model, right? So for this case, I'm using some of the standard libraries like data science libraries, something like Pandas, NumPy, and Skylab, Skyborn, or for the plotting the charts, and sklearn for all these models. So let's go into it. So basically, this is pretty simple import, and then I'm just loading the data into a data frame. Right. Let me run this. Yeah, the customer's memory. Okay, now you can see the imported data. Let's take exploratory data, right? Like any classical steps we do when you have the data is to EDA, explore data analysis. So in this case, we are trying to understand the sample data. So as I was sharing before, so there are NPK, temperature, humidity, pH level, rainfall, and what crops we can grow. So this is the data format we have, and we have 17,600 records are there, and basically it is the dimensions of the shape, and as you can see, the columns are there, and also the labels. If you see, these are the different crops types here the data set has. And yeah, so what are the data types we have? Integer, float, and the object is label, which is nothing but the string. So let's see the label count. So it's all the sample of 100, each crops we have, right? So when I load this data, like basically the numerical columns, the non-numerical columns cannot be plotted in a correlation matrix. So if you see the correlation between the pH level, which is potassium, is a negative, inversely correlated, and the temperature is highly pH level and the temperature are highly correlated. So then also you can find the relationship between basically this gives you the relationship between these two. So basically this potassium and phos so these are highly correlated. These are the things which is also we can see here on the EDA. Right. So let's split the feature sets and the models. So let's split the data into 20% of the data for test set, and remaining we can keep it for the model. So let's take one flow. I think we already seen the different models we have, like decision tree, k-means cluster, random forest, genetic algorithm, and fuzzy logic. So let's take here the decision tree, which is using an entropy level. We can fine tune the model parameters, and also the random status too. Basically, it just randomly picks the data, and we have this X train and Y train data to compute them. Okay. And yeah, so basically we shared this data set, training data set, and the test data set has been splitted. So we are using this training data set as a feature. 1 second. Okay, here we go. Okay, features, accuracy model, and then we're splitting the data. And let's run the decision tree, right? So basically, the decision accuracy is 90% on basically, if you see the precision and recall uh, for the apple and everything is good. The black gram is slightly lower. Um, yeah, and if you see length is slower, and yeah. So basically, these are the model scores which is able to predict. Let's cross-validate with the test data, and the score seems to be the accuracy seems to be 93%, between 93 to 87%. Yeah, we can save this model as a decision tree model so that we can use as a machine learning model to serve. So this is one. Let's go into another Gaussian um, nav base. So this is another model which can also effectively use. So let's run this and see. Here, I think the accuracy seems to be the precision and recall seems to be much closer. And yeah, there are some cases where we can find lesser score, but it seems to be better than the decision tree model. Let's compute the score. So if you see in an average with the unseen data set, it is around 99%, which is good, right? So let's save this model, right? So let's save this model. So if you can see now best classification classifier pickle has been created. Okay, pickle. I'm sure you guys know, like, how we can use the pickle file. Pickle file is the numerical data numbers which is stored as a storage, and we can use this pickle to load into the machine learning model, and then the pickle file eventually evaluates the score, and then it provides the data back to the team, right? Back to the system, right? So yeah, so that's why we are storing as a pickle file. Let's also understand like whether the support vector mission also gives another score. So usually when we try to study some of the machine learning models, like we try to evaluate with different models and then find the precision recall to make a decision about it. For example, here you can see the F1 score. Even the F1 score, there are some cases it is not able to predict properly. So that's in the other cases we are also trying to compare with different models. So in this case, let's also try with support vector mission. If you see the support vector mission, the recall seems to be low, but the precision seems to be higher. But in many cases, it is giving not a reasonable results, right? Let's run this model and see if we can get a score. I think the performance seems to be very poor. Uh, let's also try with a different model, which is logistic regression, and see if this model helps. Yeah, so here also there are some labels, some crops it's not able to predict, like for a mango, and the other muskmelons, it seems to be higher, but we still see the low recall and precision performance is not up to the mark. Nevertheless, let's try to run the score is still lower, which is 95, between 94 to 95. Of course, it has not given the results like, less than 95, 94, which is good, right? So let's consider this logistic regression and fail. Uh, Last but not least, let's try the random forest model also. I think in the random forest model, we have this, it's like a clustering mechanism where you can go configure the estimator, which is 20 here, the random state is this. And then we can also do the predict using the test data, and then you can get the score, right? So let's try it. So here also there are some crops, it's not, the precision is bad, but the recall seems to be very good. So yeah, let's try. Awesome. So it's between 98 to 99. So as we see in a decision tree, this is a similar score we are able to get it. Let's show the random forest because it's giving promising results. So let's run and see how the chart goes. So out of this, if you see a decision tree and Navbase seems to be promising. Support vector machine is very low, so we cannot consider this as your accuracy comparison, right? Right? But random forest seems to be also closest to Navbase. So basically, these two models have been most reliable and most closest to what the prediction works, right? So if you can understand the raw data, so you have this decision tree is 9, Naive is 99%. Support with the machine is like one spot. It's simple, like it has a very bad performance. In this case, logistic regression is also 95%, but random forest seems to be promising with the current data. Let's see if we give a sample records with the nitrogen as 83, like phosphorus as 45, and potassium as 60, and the temperature is 28 degree. 73.3 is a humidity. pH level is 7, and the rainfall square meter is 150.9. Right. Let's see. Let's take this example as this one. Yeah. So basically, the expected result was June, and you can see logistic regression and the uh, uh, random forest gave the right one. Of course, the SVM support vector machine should had a bad performance, so it should give some random results. So it's give the kidney beans, let's say in bias, and yeah, is given the same results, and also decision tree is, yeah. So in on overall, like the random forest and bias is something we can consider. And yeah, so this is the case study summary. Any questions so far? I will give some time to understand. Or also, we can share this notebook in case if you want to cross reference later. Yeah. Any doubts or any questions so far in this study? Yeah. That's all. Bye. So based on the given data, the samples data set, so we are able to successfully predict the crops which can grow based on these data fields using, so as experimented, right, we were able to do multiple models. So as I shared here, the approach automation, decision tree, K-means cluster, random forest, and genetical algorithms. Genetical algorithm is kind of more like, advanced in a way. So, I mean, we need large scale systems to do this. So basically we are, for the smaller cases, we can use something like fuzzy logics to understand and predict the models. So yeah. So and also we have something called a BERT model, transformer models. So like, and also object detection networks, basically SST or OLO. So these are some of the models we can use something for the image recognitions, right? Yeah. So this will essentially they'll be using on the fruits, or which is like crop, like fruits, apples, which is like predominantly like tomatoes or those kind of sized fruits, not for the wheat or rice, paddies, and all this stuff. Yeah. Okay. All right. So, what is the use of precise farming? Like basically, when we took the case study, right? So, what is the action?
Sir, sorry for interrupting you. Can you send this Python file for me, sir? For
Okay, yeah. So, do you want us to?
it's very interesting. We can practice it. That's why.
Okay, definitely. I will share them later in the meeting, or you want us to share them?
Yeah, after the session is over, if you send it, I will practice it.
Definitely. Thank you. Thank you for,
Thank you. Thanks.
yeah. So, yeah. Okay. Whatever. Sorry for that. So the precise farming, right? Like, what exactly we can do, right? So each farmers in each territorial locations, there will be different soil moistures, soil facilities. So these, based on like historical data in other regions, based on this individual parameters like the temperatures and the other conditions, right? So once they evaluated, and if the crop can grow effectively in those conditions, then we can also replicate the same model in the land where the people never been tried before, right? So this precise farming helps to reduce the trial and errors from the farmer perspective, and also they can increase their yields, and they can be more productive, and also so it is kind of giving more like intelligence to the ground nature, and also understanding the climatical condition, right? So that's a bigger leap of advantage we get using this big data platforms and machine learning models to predict what it can be done. So can we say it is a golden truth, saying that, okay, machine learning has given this, so I'm going to crop only this? Of course not, because the data what we have provided is very limited. Based on limited data, it was able to get more accurately how it can yield the results, right? So as we as a farmers, as a team, right, like we should be more intelligent enough to identify whether the data provided is adequate enough to accept the model in what percentage. So that is something we need to always be conscious, and also always be humanly understandable, and also understand the data nature to do it. So this exercise basically helps us in a way that, okay, with this data and with this information, this is what it is more closer. So we have to be always cautious on what data we feed into the system and what AI can suggest it to it. Yeah. Yeah. So as I mentioned, the benefit of smart farming, basically you can use this different advantage, and also basically we can improve the efficiency and lower the cost, and indeed the yield will be much higher. At the same time, we are spending less money. So basically, it can be an optimistic way to do the farming for the greater good. Right. Right. Any questions so far? Okay. Let's I would like to take a quiz. I hope people can participate wisely and then understand what help us in the quiz to play with. Okay. I see a quite. I'm assuming it's an yes. Let me start the quiz. Starting now. I need your help, guys, to scan the QR code, or can maybe I can share uh, link in a Zoom. So anything which is helping you or facilitating you easier. Okay. Give me the dash. I would highly appreciate if people can join in this. Yeah. Trust me, this has a lot of interesting quiz to understand how different technologies things works. So it'll be quite interesting. I would highly recommend people to volunteer and participate. Maybe I'll 2 more minutes or maybe 5 minutes to people to join. At least I need maybe 10 participants to start with. I hope you guys can sign in anonymously also. Yeah. 2 more. Help things out. 2 more. Let me start the quiz in another 1 minute. Thank you for volunteering. The 10 participants or 9 participants. If I get one more, will be great. All right. I think we'll continue with the 9 participants. Okay, let's start. 5 more minutes to anything new participants as well. Another 2 minutes, I will just end the. So far, I think who are anonymously registered is 674452. Congratulations. And Arun CR and K, you guys were incredibly answered all 16. So thanks and thanks for your time. But yeah, I let the others also play for a while, and probably another minute I'll end this quiz. Once again, congratulations to Alan CR and K and the anonymous who is on the top, which is 6744552. Thank you. I hope you guys like I saw a larger participant 21, I think, which is good. And also hope you guys had a enjoyable and reasonable questions out there, right? And I can see 96% of them were correct, accurate. Thank you for the support. All right. Any questions? Uh, if you guys wish, I can go through each questions, but I hope many of the audience are already like super par with the questions, so I skip that part. Right. All right, then I take it as a yes, and then moving on. All right, and the quiz. There you go. Once again, congratulations. There you go. All right. Let me move on to the screen. Yeah. So as we spoke about, in 2025, this how much percentage of the things which can play higher role in agricultural tech is the Internet of Things is most essential part to understand like how things can absorb. So for example, right, and nowadays in the technologies in even at home, whom are doing a vertical gardening or a flat gardening, right? So there are many sensors, something like what is the water moistures and what is the humidity level around the place, right? So those sensors is readily available and also it is very cheap, right? Imagine if you can do an industrial farming, basically you can have huge devices which can talk to each other and it can interconnect. And also go green supports that you can use these solar plates or solar panels. You can build a greenhouse, and then on top of the greenhouse you can have these solar plates which can fuel this devices. And the robotic devices can go and crawl through especially the classic example is going through the weed and then trying to get it, let's say. And if you are doing in a terrain form where coffee beans and which is too fall, and it is humanly challenging to go and inspect each and every beans. So the drones is something which can help in those cases. They can fly up and then understand each trees and what is the growth and where it is using the camera technologies, right? So even the camera technology also evolved in such a humongous level where you can put a small handheld device in a drone and then use the computation power of the camera and mobile devices which you can predict the entire model in the small handheld phones, right? So the technology has been evolved and the products has been cheaper, and we can use all those technologies to make the farming much richer and healthier, right? Yeah. So here, so the percentage wise, you know, how we can see these four components, four building blocks, Internet of Things, robotics, drones, and artificial intelligence are been the major components, and also the in agri-biotechs, which is like you can also get the soils conditions, and also we can see how we can grow the crops, right? So they can do the biotech, like also do the genetical engineerings using the crop cultivation process, right? So the big data is again a backbone, and basically controlled environment is nothing but greenhouse or any which is everything is man controlled or mission controlled. Yeah, the connectivity wise would be 3%, and regenerative agriculture, how we can crop, people have been experimenting with livestocks, and then you can have a multiple livestock growing, feeding each other and creating its own ecosystem to be more productive, right? So let's see how many companies which is there in the 2025. So basically, Internet of Things, there are a bunch of companies which does the agri-tech. And if you see the artificial intelligence, like smart agri-tech solutions, and many companies which is they are supporting this digital farming, right? Smart farming, in other words, right? All right. With that, maybe it's time to go for another case study. Hopefully, this can help us out. And it's nothing new, which is very similar to what we done in the precise prediction, but precise crop prediction recommendation, right? So it's, as you say, it's a recommendation, right? People have an opinion to whether to choose to go with it or to not to choose, right? So in this case study, right, what we are going to do is we are going to dive in depth, water level index using photosynthesis potential, and also soil facility index, right, and temperature indexes. There are multiple indexes. So as I mentioned, those models are base versions. So basically, it gives you a vanilla version or a creamy layer version of what can be grown. but here it becomes more advanced. Basically, it also understands the current soil nature, absorb them, and then continuously you can also predict, right? So this is another case study which is might be more interesting for you guys to evaluate, right? So let's see the features. Sorry for switching. So here nitrogen, phosphorus, potassium, temperature, humidity, pH level, rainfall level, label. These are the primary data set we saw in the previous case study. Now we are going to also add the soil moisture, soil type, sunlight exposure, wind speed, CO2 emission, the organic matter, irrigation frequencies, and crop density, pest pressure, fertility usage, fertilizer usage, uh, you know, growing, what kind of water it is, forest risks and water level, water usage efficiency. So these are some of the other advanced informations we are providing to, we can use this and then we can also create a model with it, right? So similar way, I have a data set to do. So let's go through one of the example here. So this was done by the uh, provided by this link, the Agriculture Journal. Why? This one was shared with the Agriculture Journal at all. Like, the data, it's been publicly available, and basically we can use some of the models to predict these. And also we have few white papers. So feel free to go through it. I am sharing the uh, details in the Zoom link and also the file name. So this, as I already shared the file, this is the file. Maybe I can share again. Copy the link. So feel free to download, and I would like to take you guys an hands-on experience trying to evaluate the case. Nevertheless, don't worry, I will also exercise this individually maybe after 30 minutes. Do you have any questions so far? If none, maybe we can go through the case study. All right, see you in 30 minutes. Uh, Haitham, do we need to give a break? I'm not sure. It's been a long session.
So good evening, one and all. Just is a small break. It's a 5:22, 5:35. So please take a break and please come at 5:35 sharp. I request everyone, it's a 15 minutes break is there. So please all of you kindly cooperate.
the link. So I'll just reshare the link. So whoever want to see both the case studies, it's already available in the view mode. You can download and then I can play. You can try to experiment by yourself. So these are the essential files for the data set files for the for this experiment. So yeah, just a minute. Just resharing the Google Drive in the okay. Just reshared the Google Drive to all. So let's go into the case study. Yeah. All right. So since we have this additional information, so additional features, in other words. So let's go through the same process. Basically, EDA is the first exploratory data or data analysis. So here, yeah, the data should be there. Let's load the data. All right, yes, we can see the data, including the soil type, irrigation frequency, crop density, and pesticides. Okay. All right, let's go through the columns. So yeah, as described in the case study, these are the columns which is available. It looks good. Let's check if there's any null records. So null is false. Let's check the labels to a different column. Okay, let's go. So here we are splitting the data into test set. Let's begin with the EDA, right? So all right. So if you see, I think let's go one by one. The N is basically skewed on the lower side. It's still okay, but the data seems to be skewed. So temperature seems to be balanced, which is neutral. The distribution is balanced. So it's okay. The rainfall is higher on the lower numbers and yes, right, which is also natural because the potassium humidity is also higher side. It's not evenly distributed. pH level is evenly distributed. Rainfall, yeah, sorry, my bad. So rainfall is over here. Soil moisture is pretty consistent. Soil types only 3 types. Sunlight exposure is most of it. In some places we have less. Wind is also equally balanced or equally distributed. CO2 concentration also higher, balanced. Organic matters is also balanced. Irrigation frequency is like one, maybe three times a year. Yeah. The crop density is also balanced. So yeah, overall things looks okay. Let's go on the next. So basically we can take the soil type is sandy, and clay. Yeah. So the growth type is seeding, vegetative, flowering, right? And the water type is river water, groundwater, and recycled water. So basically we replace into numbers so that we can have a numerical format. Yeah. Let's do the correlation metric graph. Okay. So if you see the label apple, banana, these are highly related. And yeah, so basically the label fruits. So as you remember in the previous case study, we took the first 4 sample, right? The N, P, K, temperature, humidity, pH, and rainfall. So that's just like if you see everywhere, that's the strongest correlation. The rest of the things are very mild or less dependent, right? Yeah. Uh, if you see the absolute correlations, yeah, this is top 7 features, which I mentioned, right? So basically, we also took the same on the previous exercise as well. Yeah. Let's plot the correlation with the labeled, basically the crops labels, papaya and pomegranate and rice and whatnot. Yeah, this is also having well correlated. You can see the raw numbers. So let's take the model evaluation, right? So first of all, let's split the data into slim, full, main. So, and then we can also do the okay, something wrong. Okay. Just give me a minute. Oh, just a warning, so we can skip it. Come on, I think we have a challenge. So basically, the distribution about the data set is here. So anyway, for our case, I already re-executed this crop as an example. So we should be able to see that example as a case study for here. Right. So using this case study, so basically what we did was what here we are doing is logistic regression, cross validation we are adding, and the mean calculation is also tested. So basically this, it takes the data as a temporary data set and then executes it with the sample data set with the logistic regression, right? So the second thing is the logistic regression, and then you're doing the fine tuning on over here. The model precision was 91 percentage, 96.7 percentage. The user can have um, best crop prediction with this, right? So let's not leave with that. So basically, we can also do the heat map with that. Yeah. So the second ranking and all those. So this is a classic way of doing a machine learning model. So basically, using those crop data, we are able to predict 96% the logistic regression. So we are using this data as a sample. Yeah. So any questions so far? All right. Then let me continue with our slides. So the conclusion is on the case study is basically with the logistic regression, we can able to predict up to 96 percentage, 96.7 percentage, which is good enough for any prediction to any crop forming to happen. Yeah. So okay, let's talk about the challenges people face to adopt these features, right? So as you said, there are a lot of hurdles. One thing, the data is, adoption is becoming a challenge because if the moisture information changes from place to place, continent to continent, country to country, right? So basically every continent, everywhere you might see some anomalies, so some differences where it cannot grow. But the so in order to justify it or revalidate or cross validate it or the recall for this case, right, it's going to be very tough, and basically we need a upfront cost associated to it. And there are like, people may not share the actual causes, actual informations or partial informations, or it's very challenging to get all those data. That's going to be, unless things works as a community, and then community or allows us to share even the privacy details, basically on the crop level, how the way to do the way to process the crops. It's going to be little challenging and also very expensive. So yeah, the onboarding and understanding for the farmers is also going to be quite trivial to understand what these model means and what are the limitations with that, right? So it's going to be very, slightly challenging to them. Yeah. So the sustainable practice is in the agriculture is like, basically water conversion, minimal precision. So these are the things which is going to are really going to be challenging as well. Moving on. Any questions so far? All right. So the other in things are like, basically the future technology, what we are trying to see, or the industry is trying to see, is like right from growing the crop from the land, from the all the information, they want to get it to a supply chain model, and then in the supply chain, they want to track them, where it grown and how, what are the minerals it's went in, and what is the process, right? So the end-to-end process is what they're trying to leverage. So here, what using the blockchain technologies, we can tag batch supply into, the process and everything into a single blockchain block as an ledger, and using that ledger, it can be shared with the suppliers, like, supply chain. So the entire supply chain can understand and absorb, like, okay, this crop is grown in this batch, and this batch has these things. So indeed, they can track back if there's any incidents, or any any problem happens, or any good happens, right? It goes to directly back to the farmers, instead of having middlemen, and also the mixing those chemicals or pesticides will be avoided. So means this will help you if the things are being tampered or not, right? The future of smart farming is like, we can use the drones and the innovation box. The drones, robotics, and blockchain can boost the farming in the future. So unless the cost, if it is comes in a reasonable price, it's going to be very useful for the majority of the farmers, right? And also the government is also should have policies to control and regulate the information, so that outliers shouldn't more lead more, bad causes. So utilizing the IoT, AI, big data speeds up the things to more sustainable practices, but you should secure the features, right? With that, I'm getting to the closure. So revolutionizing the agriculture with IoT data is crucial and stable, but adopting the technologies, the farmer can boost their productivity, lessen the environment harms, and ensure the food security is being there. The path to the smart farming is only started. So there is a long way to go. The industry is also getting revolutionized in many sectors, right? Yeah. With that, I'm in the conclusion here. Any questions I can take, or I'll give one more minute so that team can think about the questions. If not, I'll hand it over to the host. All right. I think not much of questions, I guess. So yeah. So handing over to the team host.
Yeah, sir. Thank you so much for your wonderful session today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. And
Yes.
thanks all the participants on participating and listening to me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, sir. It was wonderful to hear from you, and we would love to hear more in the future.
Definitely.
Yeah. So to the participants, we will be having a form will be posted, and you will be having a feedback form on the ATAL website after 6:30. So from 6:30 to 7:30, you will be answering the poll as well. I mean, the form as well as the feedback form. So please make it a point to answer so we can see where we can improve and where those sessions were good.
Thank you, Shreya. Thank you very much. Thank you, Kamesh, sir.
Thank you.
So
Have a nice day.
please, all of you, please complete your assessment test. It will be activated at 6:30 and it will be open from 6:30 to 7:30 only. So don't be rushed in the last moment. So please, all of you, kindly complete as soon as possible. So thank you all. Again, we'll join at 7:30 p.m. For valedictory session. So don't forget, 7:30 p.m. we will join for valedictory session. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Yes, sir.